Okay, so we're up in the Highland terraces of our property, which we call the Highland terraces. If I come back this way, you can see the top of the hill up there, and then up here is a valley, and then up on the other side is a valley, and in the bottom of the valley we have these terraces. You can see probably just up here, just there, that's another terrace across there, and there's another terrace up there, and there's probably another one. There's about maybe three more up this way. They get sort of progressively smaller. And so when you look at the terraces, you've got white oaks, which I quite like because they shed their leaves, and then the green oaks, which are prickly, but they grow profusely. What the owners have previously done with these terraces is that they've completely mowed them and kept them mowed for a long time, and so the ground is completely dead. We've left it to try to grow back, and you're getting these spurge things, which are nitrogen fixers, but still the spurges coming up. You get this sort of gauzy stuff, and sort of typical plants for juniper, etc. So we'd love to. The plans for up here, as high up as possible, is to dig in some seasonal ponds, and try to have some sort of swale systems that come through and move water slowly from terrace to terrace. Beside those ponds, to have and swales to have biomass growing that we can then chop and drop and try to kickstart the biology on these terraces. So we'll sort of walk down terrace by terrace until we get down to the next area down with a slightly different use is the pond. Okay, so these terraces aren't the highest priority, but it's a project I love to do, just to get some productive trees of some kind or another up here and some water. This is another terrace. You've got a old stone wall, so that terrace is quite high. But there's some nice spaces here. The terraces are fairly big, but as you can see, they're dry as hell. Okay, so continuing down, there's also paths that go along this way and along the side and down to the other parts of the property. Carrying on down now. This terrace is interesting because this was owned by someone else for a long time, and so they never mowed or cleaned up the terrace. As a result, it's actually got a lot of biomass already on it, a lot of green oaks, etc., and the soils are a little bit better. So there could be an opportunity just to go through and clean this up, open up the sort of the bottom canopy, so that we could get some stuff growing in between. But yeah, there's I think a lot of opportunity with this terrace, and this one's quite big as well. I'll just keep going along. So this is the last of what we're calling the Highland terraces. So there's loads and loads of space here to do some fun stuff. We've got these great big huge pines, or conifers anyway. Very Provençal, really good looking, gorgeous trees. But again, yeah, there's just a lot that could be, I don't know if we do anything with it or not, but anyway. Walking along. And this is sort of the bottom of the highland terraces. So I walked along there and then back down this way. And the terraces go up that way for about, I think, 5 or 6 terraces. Come around, so this is now the other way. And we're going to go down here into what is the pond area. So let's see. And in this area, it needs obviously tidying up. In this area, we've got a pond just here. There's a little pergola, fire area and stuff. So we want to clean up this area, and we were thinking that this might be the spot for some glamping, or at least sort of the central place for a glamping area. It's quite spacious. So we could have like the centralized kitchen and toilets and that kind of stuff here, and then maybe some glamping or tiny house kind of things around the place. One of the problems with the pond is it consumes more than it produces. So the water's quite low now because we're at the end of summer. I don't like to fill it up because we're already on water restrictions as it is. I try to use the biomass produced by the pond to compost and lay around the bottom of the olives over there, but I'd love to be able to combine this somehow with water harvesting, so this becomes a capture for water. I don't know if it can connect with the system from up in the highlands, so that water just keeps collecting here rather than it just being consumption of water. And so then we come down here, we have our apricot tree. I'll just turn around. Okay, so that's the pergola, the pond, apricot tree. It's nice sort of plantings there. And then this is sort of the end of the pond terrace. And then down there we have what we call the homeacre. So it's like about 1 acre of land around the house. So I'll take us there now. Again, you can sort of see the top of the mountain. You got valley on this side, valley on this side, and the other terraces come down the middle. Now, we've got also natural drainage here, which comes down from beside the pond and comes down here all the way along the side of where I'm now walking. Okay, so we're coming along here. We've got the olive grove. So we got a bunch of olives. We get about 100 kilos of olives a year. We could probably be doing more. We got the house. Everything's really super dry end of summer. But here we've got a bunch of little trees, fruit trees. Got lots of, these are all cherries, which I'm trying to keep close to the house so I can look after them. And then got the pool. Got grapes beside the pool. And so, and this is a cool area by the house. Oh shit, the temperature difference is incredible. So, looking back again, we've come from up here in the valley, down there, pond area. We walked along the edge there, down the stairs into this area here. And we're now around the house. And now I'll take you, so the house area, I want to just keep, I don't know, I need to figure that out. But I'll take you down now to, which is the area that I'm most, which I actually call the food forest. We do have this part of the property here, which is called the bird garden. Well, it was called the bird garden by the previous owners. There's a nice big poplar, I think that's what it's called, up here, a bouleau, black, and then it's had some babies, which are coming up just here. It's largely overgrown, so it needs a lot of pruning and like chopping and dropping and cleaning up. And then I think I can put some nice stuff in there. Got the bees, which are just down there. I don't know if you can see them flying around. This is our what's called phytoepuration, whatever. It's sewage cleaning via plants. So all our sewage and grey water, all of our sewage and grey water goes down into that basin there, which has got plants growing out of it. And then that filters down into the next bed or basin, pool. Got some figs there. Into there, this is actually there's like a what do you call, like a pool effectively, but with like wooden sides. And so this just grows, and we harvest all of this biomass and then stick that in the compost. Yeah, zoomed out. So that's a massive amount of biomass that gets harvested. So I was just up there under those trees where it's nice and cool. This here is the bird garden. Up there is the poplar. And so down here is 3 or 4 terraces now, which I'm trying to turn into what we're calling the food forest. So I'm in the process of digging trenches or like mini swales to catch water, because we get water pouring down here. This blue hose is our sewage that comes treated through 3 basins, and then it comes out here, and I train this pipe to my food forest beds, so to speak. So this is like the closest thing we've got to actually planting some kind of food forest. Got some plums and cherries and stuff like that. Plants that grow well here. In the middle we have it's a robinier, black locust in the middle. Everything here is planted from like little either seeds or from cuttings that we took around. I've just been doing a bit of chopping and dropping there. These swales are going to come around here to try to the big problem we have here is obviously water. So I'm trying to figure out ways to pull down as much water as I possibly can. So we've got this sort of bed system in kind of food forest. That one and that one there. But they need to be done a little bit better or redone. This is my experimental greenhouse. I have a aquaponics system here with what's the fish called? Perch. I used to have tilapia, but we harvested all those. Now I have 50 perch in there, have a biofilter. These beds here are biofilters as well. The water gets sucked through there through an air pump and filters through there. And then I take all of this, harvest all this and put it in the compost. Got kiwis that are recovering from a very hot summer, guava, mango. Again, some kiwis who are just coming back alive after summer. So that's fun. Where else should we keep going along down the terraces? But so this area that we're walking through now is really the one that I want to figure out how to turn into something sort of much more intensely food forest like. So here's the second terrace. It's pretty big, kind of loosely I've traced a trail through each terrace, but you can see it's just sort of overrun by grass and all sorts of stuff. We've got some things like a little bit of Jerusalem artichoke. I've tried to plant some figs and some other things here before, but things they really suffer in summer when we go away on holiday and we forget to water them. So this is sort of the area I'm most concerned about, or most want to try to figure out. You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff growing now, so I feel like there's quite a bit of biomass that can be used to as a nursery or whatever for plants. I come through this just recently. I've come through and I've been sort of throwing all sorts of seeds, plum seeds, apricot seeds, you know, from things we've eaten. I have black locust is one of my favorites. I love the light, the dappled light that it creates. So I've been throwing seeds all around the place for those. So they've spread pretty well. I've also been throwing recently Arbre de Judea. It's got like big fat green leaves. I can't remember what it's called in English. But so then this is the second terrace. We've got a forest all along that side. And then a hill all along this side, so the water comes down this way. And then at the very bottom we've got some neighbours. So yeah, we'll come this way. So I'd like to put, I want to put some dry ponds down here, or seasonal ponds. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of potential here. I'm just not sure, I've had several false starts at trying to get going. Like here, you can see there's a dead fig there. There's some other things probably. I think this is like autumn olive, which is still alive at least. Here probably we've got something like a buddleia. And so the idea was this was going to be one of those sort of food forest beds, but I'm not getting enough. Like it's not taking, or it's not planted densely enough. And I've got examples of this all around the place. So it's not for want of trying, but I'm not getting it. I'm not planting at enough density, or I'm not sure what it is. I'm clearly not doing a good job at keeping it watered, but it's just so difficult. There isn't a lot of water down here. So the beginnings of the swale system, the beginnings of the swale system that you saw at the very top, where I had the trenches dug, a lot of water comes down there when it rains, and so I want to just slow that water down and bring it through each of these terraces. So one by one, just slowly meandering the water through, and then on the edge of that, plant stuff and create these sort of food foresty areas. That's the idea. Terrace. So this is the lowest terrace. The water comes naturally flowing down here, and then it flows down there off the property. What I'd like to do is direct it and then put it in here, and in a space somewhere over here, I don't know, probably like in this space here, create a big huge pond which can just stock and store all the water that ends up coming down this way. See if I can get something that permanently holds water down here. But this terrace is pretty lovely. Nice big, there's a few decent sized oaks, some nice big oaks up here, and these are the white oaks. So what's great about that is they lose their leaves in winter, so it's still kind of quite bright and everything down here. So these are all white oaks, which is great. But we have neighbors all along here, so I want to plant stuff along here. We have like a big grass, like bamboo kind of thing down here called Canne de Provence. So I want to plant that all along there. That, incidentally, I've always been looking at as a potential of biomass that could be chopped up and then laid on the bed. So up this way, there's an old tennis court, which I use not for tennis at all, but for delivery of gravel and wood chips and shit like that. And then behind this forest over there's another little house which we rent out to some friends. So that's kind of the whole property. You can see the greenhouses up there. So there's these sort of 3-4 terraces up here. This is the area that I guess I'm most interested in immediately transforming. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Any thoughts or advice you can help me with would be great. You can see there's a lot going on here. There's a shitload of work. I'd like to try to create this space so that it's producing some stuff and isn't and looks, sort of nice-ish. I'm not too worried about it looking a bit messy, as you can tell. But I do want. I would like it to. I want it to look a bit, I just like it to look nicer and to be and to not be so much work to have to try to maintain. So that's it. Long video. I hope that helps. Let me know if you need any other specific things. I'll take you back here. The petanque, nice big oak tree. I love this tree. And you can see there's a greenhouse, fig, and then you can see the Saint Victoire Mountain in the background. So it's a lovely property. Just needs some help with thinking through, planning how to do things. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks.